Hello everybody and welcome to Black and White Tales print number 32. This image that I show this week is an image that I took in the 90s. I was in Gubbio, a beautiful city in Umbria, and I was there attending a workshop by Frank Dituri. Frank Dituri at the time was doing a lot of work with infrared, and he was teaching this workshop about infrared photography. And this image is taken with the infrared Kodak film. That is a beautiful film that I really miss, and is not more in production, but it was a very beautiful film. And I was there following the workshop, and as usual in the workshop, something that I love is not just what the teacher says, but is also the connection with the people that you make and what other people tell you about their experience and what they like or not. So the workshop consisted in taking the pictures, going to the darkroom, develop the film, and print the images. While I was printing this image, as soon as this image came out in the developer, another attendee that I don't remember the name, sorry, but he looked at this image and said, this image will work. And I was, what do you mean? And the answer was simple, people will like it. And I was, why? And actually people liked it a lot. So, and by the way, it's not one of my preferred pictures as a style, as things, but it worked. It always worked, as this guy said. And when I inquired him a little bit more about why the image was going to work, he told me, yeah, it's simple, because if you know the Gestalt and Rudolf Arnheim and the psychology of vision, and I was putting a lamp light in my head, and you will see that the composition here it works because there are those triangles and that reflect each other and the diagonal, and he started to dissect the composition of this image and apply to it the rules of composition. And when he said psychology of vision, Rudolf Arnheim, I was, wow, what's that? I didn't knew him before. And the first things I did coming back was to buy the books by Rudolf Arnheim, something that if you like to do something artistic is a must to read. And I started to read the psychology of vision, and I started to understand composition much better. And the strange thing is that at the time was normal. We were looking for composition in a very complex way, and it's something that it was not invented by Arnheim and the group of people working with him, but it was something that always existed. Arnheim formalized that as a theory of the psychology of vision, but it had always been there. If we look something as example at the Sixtine Chapel, we can see a lot of very complex composition with different use of shapes and curves and all these kind of things to connect the elements and to create an equilibrium inside a painting. But the thing is that impressive for me is we are losing all our knowledge, and I wondered a lot of time how, for example, the ancient Romans were able to lose the knowledge, and if you look at the Middle Ages, in the Middle Ages they were not able to do the same things that the Roman did as architecture or these kind of things, but the knowledge was lost, and it took some centuries until the Renaissance to get back to what the Romans were able to do and improved it and go on. And here is the kind of the same things. It's now we are losing this knowledge. For me, the composition is something that can be made in a lot of different ways, and is always something that it needs to create kind of equilibrium that enforces the story that you are telling. But I look at the pictures around now, and there's something that is the main thing, is the rule of thirds. And the rule of thirds is something that is just put your subject in the divided picture in thirds, horizontally and vertically, and put the subject on the intersection or simply on the lines. And that is really something that almost all the images right now are like that, and it's boring. It's the most boring composition that can exist, because first of all, it's something that can only give some sort of dynamic, is not working very well with static subject and all these kind of things. And I was watching a few years ago, I was watching the judging of pictures in a very good contest. And by the way, not my pictures, that here I decided to be detached and don't participate, because I didn't feel that I fit inside the style. So, but I was watching out of curiosity, and at a certain point there was a beautiful, beautiful picture. There was, if I remember correctly, was something like a lake with the fog, so very, very calm and very, very quiet, without movement, without anything else. And the subject was, I don't know if a boat or I don't remember exactly, but was in the perfect spot, just on the top of the center, to give this calm equilibrium. It was really a perfect composed image. And the image got merit and was challenged by one of the judges, and this judge said, yeah, but this image don't followed the rule of thirds. And I was, what? And I was expecting the other judges to tell something like, what the hell you are saying? No, they said, yeah. And they took the merit from this image. And when you look and think, okay, how we arrived from something that was very common in 80s and 90s, that was to look for something complex, for something that was gave us the power to express our ideas and different concepts, and how we arrived at something that is, if it's not the rule of thirds, that's not a good image. And it's the same with music. If you follow music, if you think we went from classic music and was something absolutely complex, with something that was mathematic, that was rules that were absolutely complex, everything was in equilibrium with a lot of instruments and a lot of things. And if you look at the music, some evolution like the jazz is something again that is complex, that is not just following one simple rule. If you look at the rock that we had in the 70s and 80s, this kind of age, it was also there was something that was studied to communicate something with complexity, sometimes breaking the rules of the past, but still giving something. If you think at any song by the Pink Floyd, for example, it's really the music is something that flows and give you an idea and give you something that can be read in different ways, and it's complex. You can listen for hours. We look at the music now, mostly is rap. Rap is just same rhythm every moment, same rhythm, with nothing, and possibly without even words that are poetic, but just thrown there, and possibly something that is very vulgar. But we arrived at that, and I think how we arrived at the fact that we loved something that was complex. We were growing, we were inventing something new, and we went down to something that is connected to the original of tribal music, because tum 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 is the most simple rhythm that a human being can invent. So that is something that is pretty impressive, and in photography is the same. And when I wonder why is, first of all, we arrive at the point that the most important thing with the social media, the most important thing is to have likes, and it became the most important things also for companies or associations, photographic associations, because if you have likes, you have the illusion that you can transfer the like in money, and mostly you can show that you have some political power, because you can influence people. So when I say political power, is political and commercial power. Because if you are followed by millions of people, if you say I vote for this person, probably you have the illusion that you move some people, or you buy this product and people will buy it. So that's the problem. This, if you want to have millions of followers, the only way to do that is to do something that is banal, that is very easy to understand, that is perfect for the masses, and it's not something that will improve what you know before. It's something that must be simple. If you want to sell millions of cars, you have to do a middle car that don't drink too much gas and it's easy to drive. But there's Formula One, and that's the idea. Is sometime I want to build a Formula One because I want to challenge things. I want to discover new things. I want to go further, improve the things we have, and that's the same with photography and composition. We had associations that passed from I give you a complex test to be certified to I tell you to make the most banal picture, meaning really just to show that you are able to focus a little subject. So that's the problem. But the problem is that more you lower your standards, and more followers you will have. It's impressive. I always spend time with a colleague of mine, and we are friends since a lot of years ago. And something that we always comment is sometime, you take a fantastic picture and put it online, and 10 likes. Then you go out, you get your iPhone, and just stupid picture with 2 filters, and you think this picture is ugly. You put it online and there's 200 likes, because it's easy, because it's something that another problem is that with social media, the time we watch the pictures is a few tenths of a second, because you scroll, and to impress in few tenths of seconds, it must be very, very easy. You cannot use a complex composition, something like the Sistine Chapel cannot be watched for a tenth of a second. If you pass by anything of the Sistine Chapel, and I use the Sistine Chapel as an example, but a lot of artistic things of the past and present, but if you pass by, it's something that you don't get it. It's just, if there's something, for example, something that is perfect for the social media is the Van Gogh with the sunflowers and these kind of things. You pass by, wow, because there's an impact, and it's easy. It's easy. So that's the problem, is that we are going toward the things that are easy, that are great for the masses, because it's more likes, and that's the one thing. And the other thing is that sadly, a lot of also associations got involved in politics, and they need to have followers to sell more power, to say we have more power over the people and we have more votes. And that's another problem that is becoming very common. So if you, in this moment, if you are a rapper and have millions of followers, you can sell yourself as to politics, to things like that, without problems, and you have a lot of values because you reach a lot of people. But if you are the best jazz piano player in the world, you probably have 100 of the followers of a rapper, or 1,000 followers of a rapper. So with this illusion that the virtual followers and the virtual likes can be transformed in votes or money, or both of them together, we are losing the. We are creating a lot of things. We are lowering the level. We are creating things that are good for the masses, and we are not working to improve what we have. And that's a point. And another point I want to tell that this image made me think about is that what I learned at the workshop there was in part what the instructor said. Also, if that was strange because I really love the images of the Turi, but it's a style that is totally different from mine. So it's always difficult to learn something when the style is so different. But the other important thing is that I learned that because I was in a workshop in contact with people, and we were not social distancing. And by the way, I hate when it's called social distancing and not physical distancing. But in my life I learned a lot during workshops that I taught or I was attended, and that because I met people. And when you meet people, you can exchange ideas, you can exchange words. And for example, with this image, the exchange was something that was very quick and was, I still don't know if the person that said this image will work said it like, yeah, it will work because full you know, stupid image, but it will work because there's a few rules inside that make it work, or he said it as a compliment. But the fact is that he said it, and I learned about composition and psychology of vision and all these kind of things thanks to that thing. And sometimes when we are in person, we are free to say things, and we say things that can create new ideas because we are not careful what we say. It's if you base your life as we were forced to do in the last months with the COVID, and if you have your life basically that is not absolutely real, and you will just look at videos and things like that, when someone does a video, they think twice before they say something, and what at the end they will communicate is just what they want to get more viewer and these kind of things. But it's not something that is just a quick joke and a quick few words that can give you something. In the case of this image, was just, well, this image will work, and we went from that home. And if I show this image in this video, I don't think anybody will write down, yeah, because this will work, and start the same kind of dialogue from there. So that's another thing that is I miss a lot right now, this the possibility to gather with people, to attend workshops, to teach workshops, to go to conventions. I was used to go to, and it's more than 2 or 3 years because I had a family limitation before, but I missed to go to conventions. A photographer or other things like the Rotary Convention were impressive, where you meet a ton of people, and when you interact with them is always something new to learn, and some stimulus that make you grow. And this is another thing. And a third thing that I want to say about this is that it's pretty impressive because it was normal for me and for other peoples before the advent of the smart technology, the smartphones and this kind of things. It was normal to spend time to learn. When this guy at the workshop told me about Rudolf Arnheim, the first things I did coming home was to go in a library and buy the books. And I spent days reading the books and studying the books and studying the things. And I spent days to get something better. Right now, with this quick technology, the idea is that you want the result and you want it now. So you want an app, you want a solution, you want a trick. So if I tell you you want to learn how to do composition, go in a library or in a public library and get a book in a bookstore or in a public library, and get a book written by Arnheim. Art and Visual Perception is the main one, and study it. Too much is studying, is something that is. But if I tell you this is the rule of third, put the subject on the lines or on the crossing, that's a trick that you don't have to spend time to learn, and wow, that works, so everybody is doing that. And that's another problem, is that if I want to give some content that will have followers, that will have likes, I have to give something that is a little trick, something that is the equivalent of an app. I have to do something, I push button, it's there. And this is limiting our growth a lot. Also because when you read a book like Rudolf Arnheim, and there's a lot in there, so you read about other things and you start to look for other things, and you can grow from there, and you can find new things to study, and you can find new things to do. But if I tell you the rule of thirds, it's ended there. It's ended there. There's no way to grow after that, unless you start to think, wow, this is boring and I will do something different. But if that works, if it will improve the likes that on your social media, also it probably will not bring a single penny, but if they increase the likes, you will be happy with that and you will not go further. And that's another big problem right now, that is this idea that to be artist or to be anything, I mean also any other job, the idea is just that we need a computer and a button to push. We need something quick, we need the trick. It's the idea that is not skills are not something that you have to work for, and you have to learn and have the knowledge so your skills can be put to work. You think that that is absolutely, it's just you need to, yeah, I want, I do. There's a trick. The idea is that there is a trick, and that's not usually is not a trick. It's just a lot of knowledge and a lot of study. So these were the things I wanted to say about this image. And by the way, sorry, probably it was a little bit long the video, but who cares? And this image again taken in Gubbio, and go on my website, there's a link in the description here, and you can look at the original image on my website. It's much better than to look at it here in the video. If you enjoyed the video, please put a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. And also, if you go on my website, you can subscribe to my blog and my weekly newsletter, so you will be updated about what I'm doing, and these kind of videos and other videos I'm doing about the techniques of photography. As usual, keep creative, stay free, and have a lot of fun.